It's something I really do need to talk about. It kind of explains like what happened last week and like why there hasn't actually been uploads, and I know it seems like really unprofessional when you think about my YouTube as a whole and how it's actually been for a long time. You know, just uploads consistently. I have been caught in a rut, and I kind of want to talk on this subject as like a whole because it's really affected my life, and I'm pretty sure it's affected other people's lives as well. And so, just again to get this kind of feeling I have out of the way, I really truly am sorry for not uploading the past 3 days, 4 days. I don't even know. It's been a while. Let me just explain that really quick before I get completely serious. So basically, I actually had videos like already ready to go before this situation happened, and you'll get to hear about the situation in a minute. Just hold on. It's gonna be a missing piece of the puzzle for a second. I had videos already ready to go, and I rendered them, and since I have a laptop that basically is a piece of garbage, it rendered most of them. It said it rendered all of them. I went to go upload all of them, and the other 2 videos that I had planned already, which would have actually gotten me out of the rut for actually not uploading it all, they had problems rendering somehow, so now I have to re-render them. So I just wanted you guys to know that I didn't forget about you, and it's not like I really didn't try to upload. I really did. It's just my situation is bad. So basically, what happened is I had to go to town because my great-grandfather had passed away, and he lives in California. I had to basically drive all the way out there, and we had to take everything out of his house, basically. So he's my great-grandfather, and he has no Wi-Fi. So we basically stayed at his house, and there was no Wi-Fi, no way for me to upload. There really wasn't. So even if I would have re-rendered the videos, it would have done me absolutely no good because I couldn't upload them. So his death is kind of what I want to talk about. It's not specifically his death. In the year 2014, I did say that it was very bad, and there's a reason for that. For anybody who doesn't know, I had to deal with a lot of deaths last year, and my uncle was the first one to die, and he died on my birthday at the beginning of the year, January 6th. It kind of set off the year to a bad start, and it got worse. So that happened in January, and believe it or not, on April 19th, I believe it is, which is actually my dad's birthday, one of our friends' moms actually died. And when I mean friends, I mean like my parents' friends. So like, she was old, but still, like, it happened on his birthday, and so someone passed away on my father's birthday too, which is, first off, that just seems weird. That just happened. And as this happened, like, I was still trying to get over my uncle passing away, and I felt bad for the family that had to go through such pain. And it was like probably the scariest thing I've ever seen. Like, we're just sitting there joking around, like having cake and stuff, and the daughter-in-law of this woman that passed away, she comes in like screaming like, "Oh, grandma's dead," you know, to like her kids, which happened to be my friends. And like, I was just like, what the fuck, you know? It really did scare me. Birthdays are meant to be a happy thing, and that one, that situation just turned out really bad. About a month later, a pretty close family friend of ours, I guess he kind of like blacked out, like he couldn't see anything at first, and so they took him to the hospital, and then they told his wife that they needed to go to the ICU. He gets brought into the ICU. We ended up finding out that he had a brain tumor, and within 6 days of them finding this out, he passed away. And I feel like this was probably one of the hardest deaths I've had to deal with, and it's not because of how close we were, but it's because I actually like witnessed the entire process of it happening. Basically what was happening is I was trying to give my full support to this family. Like, every day after school, I went to go visit him, and each day it got worse and worse. So when I first got to see him, he wasn't able to talk anymore, which is kind of something hard. I don't know if anybody's ever really had to deal with that before, where someone couldn't talk, but it's actually pretty scary. There's no other way to explain it. You have to witness it. I mean, it was just sad. He looked like a kid, like looking around. They had like no idea what was going on. It was all these people like crying around him and like telling him they loved him, and he couldn't say anything back. And I think that's like one of the scariest, saddest things I've ever actually had to witness, is this man having his family telling him all these things, and he couldn't say anything back. And then a couple days, I think about 2 days after he couldn't speak, he actually went into a coma. And during this coma, he had like really disturbing breathing, and what I mean by that is he'd breathe in really hard, and when he breathed out, like his entire body would shake. And I think a day after that, he got a fever of like 105 or something. Like, I was there every day during this entire process, and it was really hard to watch. It was. So I don't mean to be a bitch. I'm actually kind of trying not to cry. I don't want to. I don't want to. It's in the past, and it's just something I need to tell you guys about it. I found out in May that one of my friends that I used to go to school with, she changed schools. Happened to be during 11th grade. She went there for 10th, and then she changed high schools. And I actually used to be pretty good friends with her. I found out that she committed suicide. You know, she changed schools, so I never even got the chance to like really even talk to her anymore. It's really sad that people do that type of stuff. If you know anybody that commits suicide, well, yeah, it's a different type of death. If you've ever had somebody your own age die, it's the weirdest thing. It's different. It's way different from having a grandparent pass away. It's way different from having just any family member or anybody that's older die. Because in some way you're just like, oh, okay, they kind of got to live their life. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of like the way we kind of see things in a way. I found out about 2 weeks later that a girl that went to our school got into a car accident and died. And so, I mean, if you can't tell, this keeps going. You think it might end here, but it keeps going. If we jump forward to about September, a very, very close family member of mine, he was basically like another father to me. He ended up getting cancer earlier in that year, around January. It got so bad that he actually started dying from it. In September, he passed away. I never got to say goodbye because everybody kept shoving everybody out. They thought that, you know, it wasn't good that he kept getting visitors and stuff like that, and I never got the chance to really actually talk to him and say goodbye. And that's probably the biggest regret that I ever had. If anybody you know has cancer or any type of illness and you think there's a chance that you might not be able to say goodbye, any chance you get, say goodbye. Like, be able to try to talk to them. You know, try to make the time to really talk to them, because when they're gone, they're gone. You can't talk to them. Like, that's it. Their life is over, and the chance you had to communicate with such a person, such a human being, it's over. You don't get that chance anymore. We ended up finding out around in December, my mom's biological mom, because my mom was adopted when she was younger. She got to meet her biological mom, and her biological mom passed away. And my mom didn't like her biological family because of what they did. And that's not really even my story to tell, so don't necessarily ask me, because it's not something I should even say. But my mom actually cried. Like, she was upset, and the reason why she was so upset is because she heard of so many people dying within that year. I couldn't blame her. And like, if you think that that's bad, like, that's just the people that were in my life. I actually heard about, like, from many friends, not like one friend or anything, but I heard from like many friends, people that had died. A very good friend/neighbor passed away for my girlfriend. Like, apparently she knew the guy, and he was like really nice, and he got into a car accident and he died, and he left behind a wife and I think like 3 kids. I heard from one of my mom's friends that someone had a baby and their baby died. And this is all within the year 2014, and I'm just hearing about this. Like, I did my best to be strong through all of 2014. When I found out that my great-grandfather had passed away, not gonna lie, the way I felt about it was, I was like sad, but at the same time, just, I thought more about like how it affected everybody else other than how it actually really even affected me. The thing is if you haven't dealt with this much death, personally, what it's done to me, and I actually feel like this happens to a lot of people after a while, kind of just start to move forward. What I mean by that is, people die, you feel bad, but that's it. Like, that's the whole process of how I deal with death now. And honestly, personally, I find that to be horrid. I feel like when people die, there should be a time for sadness. You know, there should be a time where, you know, you mourn their death. And I don't go through that process. Not anymore. So, as I said, like, I don't know if anybody's really had to deal with a bunch of death, but honestly, I think this is what death does to you. You start realizing that, like, this big group that you're a part of, because you're part of this big group of people, People start dying, you realize how small that group gets, and it gets pretty small really fast. But no, I kind of wanted to share this like feeling that I have because it's something I feel like I need to kind of like tell you, like something I need to kind of like almost get off my chest in a way, because I find it to be really sad that this is how I feel about things and this is how I see things now. I kind of just want to know like your perspective and like what you think of the whole situation itself. Let me just get this completely straight out. I don't say these things to make you guys feel bad for me at all whatsoever. If you think that's what I'm trying to do, don't think like that, because that's not the image I want. I don't want people to think like, oh, this is all he wants. He just wants people to feel bad for him. You know, stuff he's gone through and stuff. Everybody suffers, alright? I understand that. I understand that my problems are no better than anybody else's. And I respect you guys' opinions. That's why I'm asking you guys how you feel about this, because I just want to know. Because this process actually happened to me during all these deaths. Like, there was times, like, close people died, and I didn't shed a tear. And I know that's not saying that, like, oh, like, I didn't care or anything, but I really did just move on. Like, I realized that they were gone, and that was it. That was the end of it. So sorry again for the uploads that did not happen. I apologize, but this is what happened, and I got uploads. They're ready to go. I'm going to get busy this next week because of AP tests, and so I probably won't be able to play a whole bunch. But right after that, during May, I'm completely open. I'm ready to do this. I'm going to focus on like college, scholarships, and my YouTube channel, and some other things like my personal life a little bit. But everything's going to come back on track, and nothing's going to be really abstract anymore in my life. You know, nothing's going to be obscure. You know, everything's going to be back on track, and I'm not going to have such a tight schedule that I do have now. I'll talk to you guys later. I do have uploads coming out this week. And so, yeah, this is Flashy out, guys. Peace.